Hi, I'm David Dausey, and welcome to this segment of the Dausey File. Today we're going to talk about a recent ban that was passed by the FDA to eliminate the use of BPA, or Bisphenol-A, in baby products, especially baby bottles and children's sippy cups. This was lauded by many people as a major public health victory, and I'm going to emphasize that it is a victory, but it's a very limited victory, and I'm going to talk a little bit about toxic chemicals in the U.S. and why we still have a major problem. What is BPA? It is actually what we call an endocrine disruptor, and it mimics estrogen. And one of the reasons why it's a problem is that it's been associated with, at least in young children, reproductive problems. It's been also associated with immunologic problems, metabolic disease, etc. And while the data on BPA is still being collected, and while we still don't know everything, there is at least some reason to believe that BPA may be harmful if used in consumer products. One of the reasons that the ban on BPA in baby bottles is not a complete victory is that the chemical industry has already phased out the use of BPA in baby bottles for many years now. And so basically the chemical industry went to the FDA and said it's now okay to ban the use of BPA in baby bottles because none of us are doing it anyway. But BPA is still found in many, many other consumer products. BPA is found in almost every canned good in the US. And so if you eat canned vegetables, you probably are having been exposed to BPA. If you eat canned soup, you're exposed to BPA, et cetera, et cetera. And there's research to suggest that our exposure to BPA from eating things like canned soup is actually much higher than we had originally suspected. You might say to yourself, if BPA is a problem or a potential problem, how did it find its way into consumer goods? One of the reasons is that we have a very outdated chemical law in the US. Our law for toxic chemicals was actually created in 1976. The federal legislation known as TSCA, which is the Toxic Chemicals and Substances Control Act, was created basically to protect consumers from lead, from asbestos, etc. A lot of the things that were going on in the 1970s where we were concerned with consumers being exposed to products that could potentially make them ill. Since that point, 80,000 new chemicals have been brought to market. And none of those new chemicals have received the scrutiny that they probably need to receive. None of these chemicals need to be proven that they are safe for consumers before they're put into consumer products. Instead, the onus of proof is on us to prove that the products are unsafe. So rather than the manufacturers having to prove the products are safe before they bring them to market, we instead have to prove they're unsafe even after they're in market. And so there are a lot of chemicals that are currently used right now that we should all be concerned with. Let me give you two other examples of chemicals that are currently in consumer products that are concerning. One of them is perfluorinated chemicals. And these chemicals are used in non-stick products. They're also used in stain resistance for clothes, and they are used in many other products, including, the coatings on pizza boxes and other things. These chemicals have been associated with immunological problems with young children, and fetuses and babies that have been exposed to this have lower immunologic responses. They're more susceptible to disease, and they have more problems. Another chemical are polybrominated diphenyl ethers. These products are basically flame-resistant products, and they have been associated with a wide variety of problems, including the potential for hyperactivity disorder and the potential for learning disorders in children. And so as we think about all of these different consumer products that have chemicals in them that are concerning, we have to ask ourselves, are we really protecting our children? Are we really protecting our families from the things that are potentially harmful for them? I believe that we need new toxic chemical legislation in the U.S., not only at the federal level, but also at the state level. Currently, there are 28 states considering new toxic chemical laws. Right now, the federal government has been tied up for several years trying to develop toxic chemical laws that are acceptable to the chemical industry. I believe that we needed to protect all consumers, and especially children, from potentially harmful consumer products, and that federal policymakers need to stand up and need to not only draft and approve strong toxic chemical legislation, but also demand of chemical companies and other companies that are putting chemicals into consumer products that they prove first that they are safe before they are marketed to consumers. That concludes this episode of the Dausey File. I'm David Dausey. Thank you for watching.